I've recently watched Shokugeki no Soma, which is Food Wars in English. And we already, I think it's a really great anime overall.
Thank you. I think so too.
The way I watched it, the way I got into it was my cousin was telling me about it, and she was like, yeah, it's a really great anime, you should watch it and stuff like that. And then when I watched the first episode, and then I saw like essentially like close to nudity, the etchy aspect of it, right? I was like, this is kind of strange. What are you recommending me? Like, what is my cousin recommending me? And she's a girl too, so I'm like, I wouldn't think that this is why she wanted me to watch it, obviously. But like after you look past that and essentially just watch it for what it is, the story aspect of it, the entertainment value of like the cooking, and they're pretty detailed about some of the parts too.
Yeah, some of the recipes. But I would have to agree. I have tried very hard to recommend this anime to a lot of my friends. Granted, they don't really watch anime that much, so probably a bad anime to start them off with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's like one bite of food and then clothes burst away. Yeah.
Food Wars is not what you should recommend your friends to watch first.
Yeah, but it does have really good quality, like animation quality, and the plot is there. But I'm a foodie at heart, and I love how they're so detailed in it.
Yeah, I thought in terms of story and plot, the first 2 seasons are really good. I know you've read the manga, so you're like beyond the 3rd season.
Yeah, it's actually finished.
Yeah, so the 3rd season I think is the final season, or whichever season they're on right now is the final one, and I'm on that season. And so far in the anime, it's been kind of like, I don't know, the pacing has been kind of strange to me, and I'm not sure I'm enjoying the story so far. Like Joichiro got his ass beat by some guy.
Yeah.
Or his past student. So I just don't like that, because like they built him up to be such a amazing, badass. And then like for that to just be like a quick scene, I'm like, okay, I guess. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel like Soma earned the top spot, like number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't feel like number 1 to me.
I think they kind of just, at least in terms of the anime, they kind of just gave it to him.
Yeah. It sort of just felt like, here's number 1 because all the other guys are leaving, and we beat them in the team Shokugeki. So
yeah, in terms of, okay, so I could compare both the anime and the manga. They do stay very close to the storyline, and it was a little bit difficult for me to transition because I started off with the anime. And the anime and the manga doesn't have that type of like the food is glistening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as the story progresses, I guess spoiler alert, it does get better. I want to say season 3 is probably starting off really slow for you.
Actually, I feel like it's going pretty fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it does get better. And I think Soma will show you why he is in that spot, I guess.
Yeah,
not to give too much away.
Yeah, I hope so, because right now it feels like he didn't really earn it, and that's one of my issues personally with how season 2 ended. It's just like he just all of a sudden became 1. Like it was kind of abrupt for me, but I sort of wanted him to like progress more, a bit slower, like a slower burn.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like it also doesn't make a lot of sense that Soma is number 1 because Erina has the god's tongue, I guess.
Well, she became the director, right? So
yeah, still, it's a little. I guess it's unsatisfying for both of us.
Yeah.
It's what everybody wanted, but not the way that we wanted it to be.
To happen, yeah.
Yeah, like season 8 of Game of Thrones. I had to throw that in there.
I mean, so just as a quick aside, some people can argue that that's not what they wanted to happen. So, yeah. But overall, I think you know the ecchi aspects of it, like they play it off pretty well, in my opinion. Because some animes just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
But the way they portray it as sort of this is how intense the food is, or this is how they're taking in the food. This is how they feel. And
yeah.
I think it's genius that they use it in a way that is like a reaction to the tasting of the food, which is pretty smart, because it's like it would be kind of boring if all they did was like talk about how great the food is, you know.
Yeah, like, this is so good.
They have to level it up somehow, and that's their way of doing it. And I think they do it well. Like, they do it tastefully still, in my opinion. Although sometimes it gets to be so much to the point where I'm like, like
what if your mom walks in? Are you watching it?
Oh, dude. The first episode, my mom was like right there while I was watching it. So I was like, oh gosh. so I got in the habit of just skipping it, or like, you know, fast forwarding a little bit.
But it does make sense. There's different levels of nudity, I guess, for different levels of reaction. And I believe they explain it like later on in the episode. Like normal people. That was kind of strange. Yeah.
Like,
normal people, it's like an automatic like clothes ripoff. But if it's like a master chef or something, it's like I think I remember one of the episodes, it was just his underwear that came off, something like that, and then as it progressed, it was like his entire kimono that he was wearing.
I think it was like Edina's family line had that ability, the gifting or something, and then people's clothes came off,
and it affects people around them.
So it's sort of like a metric of how good the food was, and they used the metric well, in my opinion.
It's a visual display of how good the food is versus a verbal display.
Yeah, I thought it was well done, but at some points it definitely became kind of overplayed because everybody's food was just so good at that point that like everyone was like, oh my god, it's so good, blah blah blah.
It's also like, because they're battling people who were good.
Yeah, that's true. But like, at that point, you don't expect anyone to be bad, so you sort of expect every reaction to be like, "Oh my god, the food was so good," you know?
Yeah.
But once they got to the point where Edina's dad was gifting everybody, that like you can tell was they had to find a way to make it like above and beyond in terms of their reaction. So
there's only so much different types of nudity and nudity reactions that you could do.
Yeah, I guess the takeaway from our discussion is don't let the ecchi aspects stop you from watching it. I mean, I feel like most people wouldn't, but
yeah, I think you just have to overlook it and then get to the deeper part of the story.
It's a fun anime.
Yeah, granted, the first few episodes, like, they probably use that to draw people in, but you know, as most anime, as the story progresses, it gets a lot better.
Yeah, definitely a fun anime.